So hello everyone, um, welcome to my channel. This is my first video. My name is Dash All for One. So today we're going to be going over just what my airline is and what my future videos will be about. That is going to be Dash Indonesia Group and the subsidiaries that are under it. So I'm going to start off by talking about what Dash Indonesia Group is. Obviously, if you're familiar with Airlinesim, it is a holding company for 3 different airlines. As you can see over here from the subsidiaries tab, it is Dash Indonesia Airways, Connection, and Domestic. All of them perform different roles within the country. All of them are under this one. My main holding maintains pretty much all the terminals, a lot of the terminals aside from the one in my main hub in Jakarta. It manages all the terminals and all their outstations, as well as my other international destinations. Overall, so that's how it makes enough money to sustain itself and the employees that are under it. I plan on making this a leasing company in the future. Right now, though, it does not do much more than this. That's all it does. So we'll be talking about Dash Engineer Airways. So I want to start out by giving you a look at it. This is AS route map here. It pretty much shows your airline once you register it in the system. This is pretty much the entirety of my airline right here. This is the main airline that I use. As you can see, we are hubbed out in Jakarta. The main country is Indonesia. Based on the map, you can see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bases around the country. So I operate out of every one. Singapore is currently in flux. I'm deciding what I'm going to do with that. Currently, those are the 5 main hubs. So as we want to get some more detail, click here. So this is click that. So this is my main airline, as you can see. So I'm closing in about 350 aircraft. We'll have just about that once I get the rest of my orders. So I have some A330s left and a few 737-800s. The orders for these are planned for future expansion of the company. That'll be happening soon, and that'll be the subject of future videos. So currently, we are the second, I would say probably the second biggest airline in the country. We can easily confirm or deny that fact. So we'll check enterprises passengers per week. We'll go by my country of Indonesia. Yeah. So currently we're the second biggest airline by passengers per week. We're closing in on him. We were a lot further behind, but we are catching up now. So I did start off, basically there were multiple airlines when we started. So this is actually a good sight to see that I'm starting to close in. Even if I combine my current airlines, we're still a little bit behind them, all of them. So yeah, so we're about 2% behind if we combine the two, all of our airlines. Passenger capacity per week, he's definitely going to be better than me there. He flies a lot more. He flies A321s almost everywhere. So that's expected. So back to the overview of the company. We can see that we definitely have a lot of passengers. You can see the composition of my fleet. So we use the A320 family of aircraft, as well as A330 and A350 types. They do run under the same type rating for pilots, so I don't have to worry about training pilots that much. But they do operate on different. There are 2 separate aircraft for maintenance categories, so I do pay for that. The 737 is my main aircraft. If I had to do it again, I would go with the A320 family. Just seems like it would be better for capacity, given that this country, Indonesia, has a huge amount of demand just about everywhere. So the A321 may have been a better choice, but I'm satisfied with the 73. It does give me a lot more options in terms of what I want to do. So it's fine with me. So I want to go over my main hub. Just a brief overview of my main hub here, which is Jakarta. We are the largest. I have the most departures out of here, at more than Pan Pacific, but I do not hold, as you can see based on the overall statistic, I do not have the market share out of here. He does. He is my main competitor. He does operate more flights out of Bali, though. That's where his, I guess you could say, base is. So he does fly out of everywhere else too as well. I just fly more flights out of certain hubs than he does, and vice versa. So we do have Jakarta is pretty slot heavy, slot constricted. We do have a big problem with slots here. So what I'm starting to see is that I'm trying to focus a lot on areas that aren't as dark, and I'm hoping that he'll eventually sign out one day and I'll get the country to myself. But I am open to competition. Yeah, he just doesn't play as much as I'd like, so it's not as fun with him there. So back to the overview. We'll go over how much money I make. So this company is better than average for a company, I would say. So this is my sheet here. So we're looking at about 116 million in profits. Revenue is good, 345. We're not seeing any major problems. We've been on the up and up. We've never really fallen in the negatives since I started. So it's always been on the up and up. Okay, so what I'll go over now is the load factor. What does my load sheet look like? How's the airline flying? Obviously, we got to be filling planes, right? And that is the case. We are seeing some fluctuations since yesterday, since yesterday. So what I am seeing though, we have a 95% load factor, which is fine. That's very good. It's not bad at all. So we cannot complain about that at all. So we'll also go over the flight schedule, so you can get a feel for what some of my routes are. We do fly to Abu Dhabi. This is pretty much we fly to a lot of places out here. Amsterdam is definitely something that I'm working on, trying to make that happen. Right now, we're not filling the planes the way I'd like to, so we'll work on that. This route right here will be going away, and we'll be changing out of a different hub. But you can see some of the heavier routes where we're flying a lot of planes. The CS1 is mainly a slot holder. I will be eventually making a larger order for MAX 9s, which will be coming soon with the amount of money that I've saved. So it'll probably be about 25 to 50 aircraft that'll be coming into the fleet to change CS1s out, and the CS1s will be going to a different role within the company. So these are just a few of the routes. I'm definitely trying. I use the A330R, which stands for regional. So for that capacity, like I said, the country's huge. Just to give you a sense of that, I'll show you one of the heavier routes. This is Bali. This is between two hubs, one of my hubs and his hub, but he does operate more flights here than I do. You can see that I have about 25 flights. He easily passes 30. So we can definitely say, and there's still room for more. So we can definitely say, you can definitely see just how we're currently carrying probably about 42,000 passengers a week. So that's definitely not full yet. Another good route, as you can see, is going to be, we have Kuala Lumpur. This is I share this with an alliance member. So we definitely operate a lot of flights between there. He operates more than I do. I just allow it because we're alliance members, so it doesn't really matter. We're connecting between each other regardless. So he averages 73%, and we definitely seen about a similar amount, and there's still room for more. So we'll definitely do that. And another one is going to be between another one of my hubs, and this is my largest set of routes between Jakarta and Medan, which is my largest set. These are two of my biggest hubs. So we can definitely, as you can see, there is a lot of room for more. Basically, for me, my competitor may not be able to do what I can do because he doesn't have the connections on the other end that I have. But as you can see, that's that. And I operate about almost 30,000 passengers a week through that route. It's mainly because Medan is a stopover point for some of my international flights, as you can probably see from the past flight schedule sheet. So Doha is another flight. I operate this in a lot capacity with one of my alliance members. So this is, I just fly A330s there, and I make sure that it fits within his waves, and I fill it. So that's pretty much the overview of some of the biggest routes that we have. So basically, we're going to be moving to depict this. We're going to be building up Bali as a hub because I want to. I feel like it's a good location if I'm trying to connect Australia to Asia and to the Middle East. So we're going to be doing that. I will detail that in the future video. So that covers pretty much everything for this airline. I don't see. Yeah, so everything's pretty much covered there. So there's no much. As for this one, my main airline is just that. So we can talk about my flight number system, but I can detail this more in another video as I'm setting it up. But Indonesia Connection uses a special one, uses a different one from the other two. It's basically because I do not operate in general out of a hub. Sometimes it's just point to point. You'll see that the 1 stands for domestic international. It just tells me if there's a 1 there, if there's a number in the front, just means it's domestic flight or an international flight. If there's no number, it's an international flight. A 1 or whatever number equals a domestic flight. 2 tells me what section of the country the flight is departing from. So this section up here, from Medan down to this stop right here is 1. So any flight up here would be a 1. From Jakarta down to Bali is a 2. This section of the country. Anything in this section right here of the country is going to be a 3. And that means that includes Makassar. And then down over here is going to be a 4. So that's how I number my aircraft. That's how I keep track of what's going on. I'll give you a quick overview what connection looks like. So it's not going to be this big though. But it does, as you can see, operate some international flights. Flights that I can't field. Medan is an international hub mostly. It doesn't do much else. That's pretty much all it does. It's not really in a great place to connect anywhere in the country, but so I use it as sort of a funnel. I funnel passengers up here and then shoot them out into Asia and the Middle East. So as you can see, these are just some of the connections. Like I said, there's really no method. Sometimes if there's demand between 2 places that I'm not filling with a hub, or if it's just impractical, like anything in here, the nearest hub these are the 2 nearest hubs. So just impractical for them to go down to connect somewhere. So they'll just be connected based on what I see on Wikipedia or Flight Radar, which is mainly how I choose my routes. I see my routes. I check Wikipedia. Whatever Wikipedia says, I say okay. And then if Wikipedia says it's a route, then I'll look at it. Then I'll check Flight Radar and see if I can see what kind of plane operates on it. So that's in general how I do that. So as you can see, we are the largest operator. This is the largest operator of the E190-E2, which is, yeah, it still is. So we are the largest operator of the E190-E2, which is a relatively new aircraft to this server. Tempelhof is an old server, so some things may not mimic real life as much as the new servers do. So as you can see, this is the fleet. We operate some props, some short stall aircraft, mainly to operate the places that nobody else can. There is a destination here, for example, is Echo November Echo right here, which has like I believe a 700-foot runway that no other aircraft with a prop can get into. So that's how that works. So I guess pretty much this is just my connection. It just adds sometimes additional flights. Sometimes it's the only operator between 2 places. So sometimes that's how it works. So we'll talk about domestic next. Domestic is the final airline here. It's mainly just to gain some connections in Bali because I'm trying to set it up. I do not have, when my big company was smaller, I couldn't necessarily do that, but I may not need this anymore. But as you can see, it's mainly just a connection for Bali. So it just brings in a lot of the additionals. But as I start to expand there, this may not be necessary. We'll see what happens. It was mainly just to give me some more market share in this section of the country. Bali is mostly an international vacation destination based on what I'm able to research and what kind of flights fly in and out. It's not very well connected to its own country. That's generally not where the demand is for this. A lot of it is international, which is why I find it the ideal place to start. The other reason why I find it to be the ideal place to start some additional international flights. So that's pretty much it for the overview of my airlines. If you have any questions, you can leave them down in the comments, and I'll answer them as best I can. We'll go into more detail on all the airlines as we work through them. I will definitely go into my waves and all that other stuff, how it works, in the next video. So stay tuned to that. So I hope everyone has a great day, and thank you for watching.